Welcome to Inside the Film Room. I'm Kristen Earl alongside head football coach Will Healy. The Governors fell short on Saturday against number 14 ranked UCF. They are one of only 5 unbeatens left in FBS football. Coach, what did you see when you graded the film?
Some great individual performances. Obviously, Tiny sticks off the screen. I thought Kentel was playing great before he had to go out with his injury. But, I thought offensively we did some really good things. That first half was extremely competitive. As much as anything, very proud about how we came out. We started, we had energy, enthusiasm, passion. We started strong. We played extremely hard. I don't think even when the game got out of hand at the end of the game, I didn't think we ever quit. I thought we played very competitive football, especially for the first 30 minutes. But we got to learn from some of those lessons as well. We can't give great football teams, basically 2 turnovers that led to touchdowns, a kickoff return that goes the distance. So we shot ourselves in the foot a couple times, which is what I think led to the difference in the score. But what I left with was in awe about how talented Central Florida is, how well coached they are. That offense is amazing. Every time they get out on the field, you just hold your breath. And I think defensively they do a fantastic job too. It's like I felt last week, but I even am more convinced if they end the year and do what they are capable of doing, I don't see any reason why you can't at least include them in the conversation for the college football playoff. So great environment, great football team, and I thought our guys did some great things to stay competitive.
It was a night of big plays, some unbelievable catches. You have to talk about Trey Pruitt, Kyron Moore, and we can't leave out that Ryan Rakasus, an offensive lineman, scored a touchdown. What stood out to you?
Well, Rock needs to work on his touchdown dances. The 2 plays with Tiny and with Trey Pruitt were unbelievable. You almost kind of laugh at those were 2 great breaks that went our way. But I tell our guys all the time that at some point in time those breaks were going to start happening for us, and they have the whole year. So hopefully they continue. But again, I thought we played really hard. We moved the ball very effectively, especially in the first half on offense. And if you eliminate the 2 turnovers, then it's as good a first half as you can possibly play.
You can go an entire coaching career and maybe not see a player rack up over 360 yards all-purpose. Kyron Moore is the OVC's co-specialist of the week. After that 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, it's going to be hard to get anyone to kick to him again. What does Tiny do that makes him so special?
Well, he did that. The return he had for a touchdown, he did it on his own pretty much. We had 2 or 3 guys that did a good job on that play, but that of all the kickoff returns we had on Saturday, that was probably the least well blocked. So that shows how dynamic of a player he is. We feel like he's special every time he touches the ball. For him to compete like he was at that point in time, as many touches as he'd gotten on offense and then what he'd done on special teams, he wants to win. He wants to be, different, and for him to show that speed against those type of athletes, I think is impressive in itself. I gave him a hard time about the one where he broke on the screen, where if he just works a little bit to the outside, he probably scores on that one too. But Tiny's a special athlete, and what a great representation of how far this program's come.
Absolutely. Defensively, the Knights came into the game as the number 1 scoring offense in the country. We knew they would be a challenge. What did you see from an effort standpoint from these Governors?
I think we always play really hard, and that's something that should be expected around here. So their tempo gave us some problems. I think they run their tempo as well as anybody in the country. Obviously, they have great weapons. The one-on-one battles that we've been winning for the majority of the year, they won, and that led to some big plays. But we never quit, and I thought we rallied to the ball all day long. Their speed was very difficult to defend. I think their quarterback played exceptionally well. He's a great player. Like I said last week, their scheme in itself is difficult enough to defend, but when you put those weapons on the field, it's going to be a tough day for you. The thing that I'm not happy about is we gave up 73 points. But we gave up 21, not on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
You know, you give up a fumble recovery for a touchdown, you basically give up a pick six, and you give up a kickoff return. Now your defensive statistics don't look as good as they should. From a yardage perspective, we played great on defense, you know. And all the way up until about the fourth quarter, the statistics on both sides of the ball were very even. We made some decisions and some mistakes that led to that being such a drastic difference in the score. And when you play unbelievable football teams like UCF, that's what will happen to you.
You're able to give these student athletes an experience they will remember forever. What was it like as a head coach to orchestrate that last week for them and then to see their reactions? Some of them, it was just a weekend of firsts.
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to Carter Crutchfield for how we scheduled that thing about a month away, and for that trip to go as planned and without a blemish, he does a fantastic job. And the great thing about Carter is that our values and what we want these kids to experience here are two and the same. You know, he takes so much pride in making sure these kids are treated in a first-class manner. And those kids they were treated better than anybody in college football last week. And that's how I want them to be treated. That's what's important to me. That experience for them, nobody can ever top. And I thought they acted like they always do, just unbelievable human beings. Everybody who meets them and is around them is so impressed with what type of men that they are. I think that they had an unbelievable time they were too cool for Disney World last week, and then they got there and they were kids in a candy store, which is what I thought would happen.
Wearing the ears.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody got a chance to see me in the tank top on the beach and saw how much Coach L has done to transform my body. And then, the massages and just the whole trip was really unbelievable. And for those guys to come out and compete like they did on Saturday, to me, either further verifies their maturity as a football team, and they're able to flip the switch, and that was impressive to me.